Get the communicator down.
Don't know if I'm hoping our microbird folks are joining, but. Give them some time. So we have business we can attend to first, so. Chairman,
Okay.
whenever you're ready.
Okay. Let's start the January 13th, 2025. Clinton County Executive Development Agency meeting. Exactly 12 o'clock. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Declare a quorum and waive the reading of the notice of the meeting as well as the minutes from the last meeting. And ask for a motion to approve. Discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Doesn't look like we have any public comment yet. So let's move on to the report. Report.
Yes, the CCIDA balance sheet as of 12/31/24, $99,880.51 in checking, $1,226,136.52 in sweep account, and $227,103.39 in savings. The income for the month, we received $38.46 in interest on the savings account. Invoices paid in December. Clinton County Treasurer admin fees, $13,000. Clinton County Treasurer pilot billing agreement, $4,000. Gamion Associates for the housing needs assessment, $14,000. New York State Economic Development membership for 2025, $1,000. The Clinton County, credit card payment for our meeting expense and meta ads, $381.01, and the bank sweep fee of $10. Total expenses, $32,391.01.
Any questions for Pete? Any comments? See if we can get an itemized bill from county treasurer, pilot billing. I don't know how many pilots we're actually billing for. For cost to.
I have it part of my tax calculation. They don't have it. So, chair.
We'll get that from next meeting. I think it's somewhere in the realm 20s. So they're doing pilot billing for about 20 projects. I would guess any of our active projects with it. That sound right? Do you think? Okay.
Any other comments or questions for Keith on the treasury report? If not, we'll get a motion to approve the treasury. Dave, John second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
None. I'm trying to email our friends at Microbird to find out if they're getting on. Give me 1 second, sorry. But no, Chairman, no old business to attend.
We wanted to skip to number 2.
I think that's fine. Is that fine? We can do that, right? Please, sorry, Shannon. Yes, thank you.
So the IDA is participating in a grant with the New York State Department of Transportation for this company South Junction. I think you originally approved it almost 2 years ago, but the project was kind of going towards DOT for a couple of different things. I think they've received their grant funding at this point, but
Some of it, most of it.
part of the grant agreement with DOT requires the company to maintain, MWP and SDVOB requirements, so that's minority income businesses and then veterans businesses. And they have an online portal basically where information is uploaded in order to monitor those things. Because the IDA is technically the grant recipient, you're the one that has to have an authorized user on that DOT portal. And DOT requires resolution affording an authorized user. So this resolution just appoints Molly as your executive director to your authorized user on the EBO portal in order to report information that she receives from the South Junction related to their grant.
Good. Any questions? If not, again, motion to approve resolution number 31. 2022. A resolution appointing the executive director of county equipment and justice government. Any discussion? Vote for the vote. Yes. Dave Hoover? Yes. Mike Zerlo?
Yes.
Mark Waters excused. Keith Defiant?
Yes.
John Van Atten?
Yes.
And Joey Trumbull. Okay, you want to just keep moving?
Yeah, here, you don't have Mike Price's stuff on, do you?
You asked me that the last meeting.
Oh,
I'll ask the office for it.
Well, I'm Chairman, I don't know if there's gonna be any issue with what we're approving today. is
there's
there?
no issue. There's a matter of, we do need to, having spoken with council, because this is something we don't typically do with seeker resolution. We've been trying to expedite this as quickly as possible. The two parcels that they are acquiring have not been vetted by the town for seeker.
Correct.
So the IDA can issue the, Steve, you want to go ahead and tell me first?
Yeah, so as model typically.
There we go. There you go. There you go. Go ahead, keep going, keep going.
Typically for seeker, we rely on the local.
You got something that you need to.
Hey, Eric, we're good.
Hello, hi Molly. I apologize for that. There may be a miscommunication, but I
That's okay. No
did
problem.
not get,
We're
did
doing-
did not have the invitation on my agenda. Sorry.
We will go, we will do the seeker, we're just discussing the seeker resolution. Chris was just explaining the process for that, and then when the seeker resolution is approved, then we can do the approving resolution.
Okay,
I think there may be a question or two on the environmental questions for you.
very good. Thank you.
Okay, so typically we rely on the local planning board for seeker determination, which we just piggyback off of the idea. In this case, to expedite the process in the interest of time, as Molly alluded to, the town is not looking for additional parcels. They're part of this project from a seeker scale. The IDA can make a seeker determination. It's very infrequent. It's an anomaly, but we're comfortable in this case based on what we see, which I'll go into.
So we're the lead agent.
We are technically the lead agency. The company, through Mike Press, their consultant, submitted part one of the full form EAF, which I know Molly distributed to the members. A lengthy document that gives kind of granular detail of what the environmental process looks like in respect to this project. We also had them fill out part two of the environmental assessment form. That is technically the lead agency's document. We asked the project applicant to provide that because the idea is no way of knowing the answers to those questions. It's more detail about the project. We've looked at that with Molly. We're comfortable, and I don't want to put words in Molly's mouth. We're comfortable that there's nothing red flags are raised with respect to Part two, there's a few questions about soil erosion and things. We wanted to just kind of kick the tires.
Yeah, I think that, talking with council, just in a matter of transparency, we want to make sure that we've asked a few questions so that if anybody came back and said, well, you didn't even ask why this is checked, yes. There's only one section, if you get a chance to review it, the land section, there's a few yes checks, Eric, right? Because, you may build, and so therefore, that may have some sort of impact to the land that's there. Correct. So the option was we could have gone through it line by line. We don't think that that's necessary. I would rather just ask the questions that were yes, so that the company can just clarify those. And then we can move on with the voting.
And just to close the loop, so once we've gone through part two, answer the questions that we have, ultimately, this board has the ability to make a secret determination. It's unlisted action. If it was a type 1 action that there was really significant effect on the environment, we would have to do a coordinated review, which means we'd have to contact all of the agencies, different entities that could be affected by this, send a letter, wait 30 days for responses. Because this is an unlisted action, of the option rather, of doing what's called an uncoordinated, whereas we can make the determination. But that's the big picture. We're comfortable that, because of the scope, because of the location of the project, because of what we've read, the documentation provided by the project applicant, that it is an unlisted action and such a determination is appropriate. But again, I want to get into that kind of detail because we don't do this a lot. We don't make determinations in that report very often. Happy to answer any questions.
So why was it a time?
I'm sorry, I apologize. Molly and team. So, Molly, when you speak, I can hear you very well. When at the other end of the room, I cannot hear almost nothing.
Sure. So
It's okay. It's okay as long as you maybe I'll ask you sometimes to repeat the question or anything.
That's
Just okay.
Well, at least one of my items is
Well, I guess we
later.
So why was the town? Was it the town not entertain this action?
I think they're in the process of doing that. It's a question of time.
So
Our understanding is that the goal here was to get this approved as soon as possible.
because the company, so just as a way of background, they are ready to make a large purchase. Until we approve their benefits, they cannot get their sales tax exemption, and they need to make that purchase very quickly.
Is the town opposed to us taking this action?
From our conversations, no.
They spoke with Trevor.
Where are these?
They're adjacent to the property. Like one's on the side and one's on the back. One is owned by TDC. It's landlocked, so this was a kind of a great opportunity. The other one is owned by Mediska, and that conversation has happened, and have you guys acquired those parcels yet, Eric?
No, in the process of completing.
Okay.
And just to kind of close the loop, what Marley said, they want to make these purchases as soon as they can. The approving resolution that will be considered after the secret resolution authorizes interim sales tax exemptions. In other words, because you've approved the project, say that happens, interim sales tax exemption allows them to get a sales tax exemption before we close the full suite of documents, these documents with the company. So it's kind of a gap. So there's added legal costs for that. I'll raise my voice for that one. But that is an option that we put into the approved resolution.
So Eric, just for clarification, one of the sections say impact on land, and yes was checked with regard to potential increased erosion from physical disturbance or vegetation removal. Can you explain how that might look?
So the only use of the land that we intend of doing is storage of Ford and GM chassis. So those chassis are procured via Ford and General Motors, and this would be the storage for that. So in order to do this, we would transform part of the land into basically a dirt and gravel parking lot. No intention at all to use asphalt or something like that. It will be just excavation, dirt and gravel, in order to, in a clean, safe, and environmental, proper way of using part of the land for that storage. So to do excavation work, then yeah, automatically we have some impact.
Sure. And
Minor.
then the only other yes that had to do with surface water. And that was, involving construction on an adjoining freshwater tidal wetland or on the bed or banks of another water body. Again, soil erosion, and then the action may affect water quality of the bodies of water that.
So yeah, so that we've kind of checked by default, just being very conservative.
Yep.
But again, like on the TDC lot, we're perfectly aware, because we've had an expert, we've asked authorization, and we have an expert to assess the lot. So we're perfectly aware of the wetland and the nature, and we have zero intention to come even close of that area.
Those were the only.
We're the play for us again is space storage. By no means we need the entire space. It's just a relatively small portion of the space that we will need to use.
Sure.
But those two lots become then interesting for manufacturing operations, just to keep it as a natural.
Understood. We just have to do our due diligence and ask the question.
Okay.
So Chris, the applicant obviously is conservative in their response in the part two. I guess my question to you is, even with those conservative responses, notwithstanding what we just heard from Eric, the determination that I think this board is going to come up with is an okay, it's not in conflict with any of those being marked yes.
Not at all, not at all. And just to talk a little more, this.
Just close the loop on it.
Closing loop, that's my latest. Like I said, this would be, the determination would be a sort of listed action, not have a significant effect on the environment. That concept would be put into the negative declaration, specific B to your secret resolution.
But you're allowed to check yes on a few of those
Well, absolutely.
and still come up with this
Absolutely.
determination.
Like Molly said, no, that's the reason we're having the discussion. That's the reason we're asking the question, get it on the record. Sure, the board has done their diligence to make sure. So, no, that's not fatal.
Any other questions, comments? Chairman, I think you can move on with the action items.
Okay. So may I get a motion to approve resolution number 01-25-01, a resolution determining that the action to undertake a project for the benefit of the corporation Microverb Incorporated will not have a significant effect. Any discussion? If not. Dave Hoover. Yeah. Rick Willey.
Yes.
Keith DeFive.
Yes.
Mark Leonard excused. John Van Atten.
Yes.
I know.
Ray Tremblay is excused, and Trent Trainer, yes. This motion carries. So any discussion to move on to the approving resolution?
Yes, I think we need to adopt the public hearing minutes first. Before we approve the resolution.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all.
Sorry, Chuck, we missed the public hearing minutes. I'm safe.
May I get a motion to approve the public hearing minutes? Keith, Second, John. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the approving resolution, the motion to approve resolution number 01-25-02, a resolution authorizing execution of documents in connection with a leaseback transaction for a project for corporation microgrid equipment. The whole challenge. Mike, second. Keith? Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Mike Zero.
Yes.
Keith Defy.
Yes.
That is excused. John Van Atten.
Yes.
Joey Tremblay is excused. Tran, yes. Dave Hooper.
Yes.
Motion.
Want to comment? Congratulations, Ward, you just saved $350. Eric, I think that's it. That's all we need. You're free to go and congratulations. We will get this work moving for you.
Thank you very much to all for your support. This is
Thank
really,
you.
really appreciated. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric.
you,
Have a great day.
Yes, you too.
Gary, any comment?
No, Eric, oh, he's off.
Oh.
I was just gonna note, that would be of interest to you as well, that we're very pleased that the workforce transition is accelerating, they're driving towards some bit larger numbers than we initially were thinking, so the numbers actually were conservative, they're hot to trot, getting into production this year. Nova Bus is being remarkably collaborative, they're actually have already allowed a number of the Nova Bus management staff to go on to the microbird payroll. So we already have management staff on the scene. They will be transferring most of the Nova management staff to be the microbird management staff. So they're not bringing in or recruiting new people, which is great for transition. They were a great team to begin with. Microbird has recognized that. And we're now working with them on the training, the various training endeavors we'll be doing with them, starting with 20 to 30 management personnel assisting in spending time in Drummondville to kind of learn the microbird operation, microbird corporate culture. That's all accelerated.
Well, that's great news. Very good.
And that's thanks to all of you, because what you've done was absolutely indispensable to the deal being made. Thank you, Marla.
Thank you. All right.
We both are veterans of working with Mike Press.
I'm older for it. Chris enjoys it too. But yes, so excellent news, very exciting. So we will get their interim sales tax requests moving. Yep. All right. So Chairman, we can go on to the next item.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Gary.
Okay, owl purchase proposal.
So this, so it was a conversation that came up, last meeting with Chris and I afterward, and Shannon afterwards, and that when they have attended virtually, that they have a very difficult time hearing us. As my staff can also attest, because they, listen to the meetings and look at them. And as we just saw, Eric could not hear that end of the table. So I am proposing the equipment that the chamber and TDC use, I asked them both for their opinions on what they use. They use the OWL system. The chamber has like the souped up OWL version. I don't think that that's necessary in this case. However, in the interest of transparency, if somebody's going to go on and see the microbird discussion and they can't hear what's going on at that end of the table, that's problematic. The OWL, it focuses on people. It uses artificial intelligence and it finds the person that's speaking. It zooms in on them. It's the microphone's all built in. So it'd be much clearer and people would have a better picture of what's going on there. Yes, this would be the IDA purchasing it. The county has indicated that they have no need for it because they really don't use this system the way we use it. They don't use it for meetings, things like that. It's usually like more of a one-on-one situation, or to watch something. So I'm proposing that we get the system. It would be ours. If we have a meeting elsewhere, I can take it with me. It's pretty small and portable. So I am, because we have a procurement policy, I had to get 2 different quotes, so to speak. They're in your packet. I think Best Buy was a little cheaper than going through Owl directly.
Yeah, we're not carrying a briefcase for this company, but a few of our other IDA clients have it. It's a good technology. The screen, splits the screen between who's speaking, the board members.
So this is video and audio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty good quality.
So the thing turns, if I'm speaking, it turns and has my picture then on
Yeah.
it?
Right, so if we turn to you a lot.
We just have to know.
No,
Yeah.
I think you actually got in flush.
No, I was having an internal dialogue and told myself that I deserved that.
But no, it's pretty cool technology, and again, as someone who's trying to do remote from Albany, it's a little hard to hear, and this.
Nobody ever has problems hearing me. I don't know why. It's a joke.
So the county will not use it.
What?
The county will not use it. Make sure they don't touch it, if they don't pay for it.
We can charge them back, Keith. Charge them back.
It's probably the county's calling about such a big table. That we're having charge to hear people on the other end.
Very nice table though. Very nice. I'm proposing, the board has to approve whether or not, I make this purchase based on the procurement policy.
I'll make the motion. Fire now.
This is not the Owl 4, this is the Owl 3. I felt like we didn't really need most advanced technology, for not, doing meetings in Tokyo, and it's really, yeah, so yeah. Owl 4 is very advanced. So it's a little bit cheaper.
Just as a side note, owls cannot move their eyes. They literally have to move their head,
Yep,
and that's what this thing will look
yeah,
like.
it does.
I wonder why they call it the owl.
There you go.
Slide, you don't see the cap.
Okay.
Some of the head looks like a little like electronic owl.
The Owl 4 comes with the option of shutting off the eyes. You can't shut off the eyes now, so you'll see the little eyes.
You can with masking.
Second, Dave, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So just want to have a quick discussion. In March, we do all of our Paris reporting and all the reports go up. It had occurred to me that as I've been doing these the last 2 years, I was nearly using the goals and objectives that Renee had put forth and finding projects that match those goals, which seems a little backwards to me. We should be, as a board, setting goals, and then my job is to try and meet those goals. So rather than objectively just coming up with goals, I'd like to have a sit-down discussion. I was thinking we could go to the butcher block, have a nice discussion. It won't be much longer than the normal meeting. However, I did, prior to doing that, having a discussion, I know we had that facilitator come last time. I don't think anybody was overly impressed with them, not that he did a bad job, but didn't want to, go down that road again. So my thought was to have somebody who lives in the IDA world every day come chat with us. Patrick Kelly is the executive director for the St. Lawrence County IDA. They've done some pretty cool things, really given where they're located. Chris's firm represents them as well. And he was the economic developer of the year for New York State Economic Development Council. So he agreed to come over on our meeting date to chat for a while. He could be available at 11. He does have to be on the road by 1, but I don't know, I don't know, 2 hours does seem lengthy to me. I feel like he could talk for, Patrick probably could talk for a long time, but it's up to you guys as to whether we want to move it a little bit earlier, and have him chat, and then we would set some goals, do the meeting, and go on our way with our new owl, hopefully. So, so I just want to get your feedback, thoughts on that. If anybody already, no, they can't. You probably won't be there, right? But as many of us that can be there, I have it scheduled for our normal meeting time. So thoughts.
Okay.
Going out to Watertown, Patrick.
Well, we should, I know he's down south, but we should have the
Yeah.
meeting you know, I don't want three of us there.
Right,
I'm
so
sure
would
the
it,
meeting
would it be helpful if I polled everybody to see what days work and then
Yes.
give some alternate dates?
Yes.
All right, because we can move the meeting, that's not a problem. As long as we can, and I'll just make sure council's
I
available.
can't go beyond.
Okay, and something just to think about too, one of my objectives for the year is I'd like to sit down with each member, take you out to lunch, courtesy of the IDA, and just have a chat with you about how you know, what you think about your role on the board, how you think I'm doing. You know, sometimes it's not always easy to say things in a group setting, and you'd rather, you know, say it privately. So, and I'd also like to, you know, find out personally how you feel the IDA is doing, what we could be doing better. So, so I'm gonna send you out, it's called Calendly or something like that, invite. It'll give you access to my availability, so you can just sign yourself up to a slot, and then, or you know, if you'd rather just do a coffee, whatever you want to do, but just pick a time on my calendar, and we can meet at your leisure.
Hey, Mike, the only place that serves lamb is lunchtime.
I can't have it.
So.
The idea, buy me food again.
That's bait for sure.
I'll get you, Mike, I'll get you the best tofu possible. So, I think everything I have for the strategic planning session. Other business as required, just two things. So, I have here. Two concept ads that, Ware Benner did up for me for the magazine that we spoke about. This is the half-page ad. This is their first one. So what I really like about this one is, you know, the could you be next, working to support business growth, innovation, long-term success in our region. I'm gonna see if he can make that background slightly more transparent, but, my preference. Oh, why not?
I like that one.
Weird.
Don't pay too much for that.
Try it in Google. Yeah, the PDF, I mean,
Email it to.
yeah, that's where I'm looking, but I wanted to see if it's downloaded here. I know Chris will really like this one. Oh, geez, yeah. Jeez.
And we got our best person on.
Yeah,
Well, it's a no-brainer.
you like the first one?
Well, the purpose, in addition to a blessing of our good work here with Microbird, we should get some advertisement out of it. Don't you think?
Well, we voted yes to do the ad. The question is which one you like.
Oh, yeah, but you
Yeah.
could be next. I like
Yeah,
that.
I do too. I prefer the first one, but I feel like the background should be slightly more transparent. Because in this one, you can really see the
Yeah,
industrial
exactly.
park.
Have them look at some. That would be that.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. Okay, perfect. So I'll go with the first one, see if they can flip the colors a little bit, and I'll send you the final product. All right? Here's that. And then I wanted to just give you a quick update on the housing study that we're conducting. So that continues to move forward. I had a really good discussion with them last week. They have narrowed it down to about 9 sites. We had a discussion on how we felt about validity and whether they are, some of them, like for example, they picked one in Ellenburg. They didn't actually explore Rouse's Point and more. So I think it was a radius issue. They were trying to do a radius for Plattsburgh. And I told them that I really wanted them to explore those options. Those are more I-87 corridor, Ellenburg. Yeah. Moving out to Ellenburg, you're going out there because you kind of want to be alone. You don't want a housing development out there. So, So, it was,
We want to know.
yeah. It was a very good discussion. The ones they have definitely slated are the Miramar Factory Outlet in Champlain. There's, 10-acre parcel of CCC that is across the road, that they're definitely looking at, potentially some affordable or market value housing. They are also coordinating with CPL. They're the ones that are doing the feasibility study for Clinton Community College. So, we want to make sure, and I told them, that we have to make sure that it is the county's land. So we have to, make sure that we have their blessing on whatever they propose there. And then they found a couple of like very large parcels that they are, either for sale or recently on the market and taken off. They're going to be contacting either those realtors or sellers to see if the properties are available. They're gonna look a little bit more at Morris and Rouse's Point and come back, and let me know which ones are actually available. From there, we'll try and narrow it down to 5 sites throughout Clinton County. I think Tom Miller Road came up, so, there's quite a few. But I'm very careful with them to make sure that they understand it can't be completely Plattsburgh. We want this all around. the
What about
county.
this southern part of the county? I remember
Peru or Keysville,
when your predecessor was here, right? I think, or maybe it was you, I can't
you're my
remember.
predecessor.
Oh, well. There was talk about the whole need for the housing of the workforce in Essex County, in Lake Placid and all that stuff,
Okay.
the hotel staffs.
Yeah,
I think obviously in the southern portion of the county, I think it's slim picking, so maybe they could look at something to the south as well.
they did. They did. They looked, let me just see. They did find something in Dannemora, which I know is not what you're talking about, but there was a big one in Peru. Yes. And I thought they had one. Maybe they don't have one in Keysville area. They did have one in Peru. Which I think will probably end up as one of the final ones. It's a pretty big site right on Bear Swamp Road, so. But I can certainly give them that feedback and see if they want to take a look a little bit further down. You're thinking like Keysville, Ausable?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not force feeding it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure they looked at it.
Yeah.
And you ask if
Very
they
good
looked
question.
at.
Well, like they did look at Rouse's Point and Moores, and I was like, you really should look there.
Was it across from Rolls?
Before you get, take a left, a right from here, off of 87, immediately on the left before Living Goods. That whole
It's owned by
section.
Florence.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments, feedback? No? Okay. So lastly, we did get this request from Strictly Business. They want an ad. It's because of the forum, which they do invite me to, and I get to provide feedback and get a feature for IDA. Yeah, it's a local business, who supports local businesses, and I thought maybe we might want to consider taking out an ad. They're reducing the price of the normal rate because we were a participant in the forum, so it would be $750 for a full page, $500 for half a page, and 1/3 per month. It says per month, yeah. I don't think it is. Do you think it is per month?
Well, we're
Like-
back. So let me be the naysayer.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody, and I read Strictly Business. But everybody there is reading, we're not reaching outside of
It's a good point.
our area.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that's reading Strictly Business knows who we are.
That's a good point.
I mean, that's just my initial thought. John, what do you think?
Here's what I would do. If we don't do it, have Mike call Betsy. Enough said.
Betsy's better than calling her.
No, Mike, I agree with you 100%. I mean, we do it because we're a bank, we're on the back cover and we want, business.
No, but you're
But-
competing against other
Right,
businesses
exactly.
in town.
Exactly. No, I agree.
I make sure when this tape gets out there, the part of what I said I like and read strictly business is in there. I just don't know if we're gonna get the value of our dollar.
That's fine.
We're not touching anybody that's,
Listen, I
that's
got
not
it.
who we
I
are.
said I would ask.
Yeah, all right,
Okay.
I agree 100%.
Anybody else? The general consensus is we're gonna pass on this one. Okay. All right, as far, I think that's all I have for new business. Karen?
Could you, talk a little bit about the NICEAG and Schluter
Yes.
situation?
I was gonna do it when I get to my executive director's report.
Oh, okay.
And I was gonna let Mike just give you any kind of county update. you think
Any
you want
county
to provide.
update? As you saw in the paper, we did, legislature did appoint, a legislator to, fill out a year, settle down, you do. Fill out the year, with the appointment use the seat, who went to the city of Plattsburgh as mayor. There still will be an election in November, but this is an interim appointment. And the only other piece of business is,
Who is it?
Paul Lemoy, I'm sorry, Paul Lemoy. Former, town of Plattsburgh councilman.
And the city's not running.
Yeah,
Won't be running.
Not even one term for the,
He had one term in the.
oh, right. So, and then subsequent to that, the only other thing is, Chairman Henry will be participating in the state of the town, county, and city forum,
Which we sponsor.
at the, at the Chamber of Commerce function at Butcher Block, so. I'm always working on a couple parts there.
And we do get the opportunity to speak at that, so I do take a little plug for the IDA at the beginning. I do have 4 tickets, if anybody is interested in attending. Anything else? County? No? No. Tonight, I can do my executive director's report, Chairman. Just to highlight a couple of things. The reason you didn't see Vortex today is because they're still working through their seeker. There's a couple of questions that we need, so we're hoping to get them on the February agenda. You will see on the February agenda, that's not in my report, Eli Schwartzberg, his sales tax exemption has expired again, and he would like to renew it, so he has to come back to the board and ask.
So let me understand this, we re-up these things traditionally?
Well,
Have.
it's totally up to the board.
But
If this is-
it's because his project's not completely done yet,
Let's
so the original.
I don't think it's
thing-
ever going to be done.
Well, it looks good.
It's huge.
Looks good.
Yeah,
It's huge.
Yeah.
We did, so when we acted as a board, I don't wanna put words in your mouth. I don't wanna put words in your mouth. But that was, did we envision affording that benefit for the construction of the new project?
Well, I think so this will be the second extension of time, is that right?
Well, one,
Yes.
John, was the whole change in scope.
Change the project,
But
yeah,
but
right.
make sure we're on the same page, we're not giving them, additional sales tax amount, we're just making the sales tax exemption awarded applicable for a longer.
Yeah, he didn't ask for an increase, he just asked for an extension.
So it's up to the board, I mean, it's fairly.
Oh, I've got no issue with that. I
The
just wanted
second
to
one
make
is a
sure.
little unusual,
Well, that's because he changed the whole scope of the project,
but
right?
again.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
but that's not before us, because he hasn't, right, about any kind of official letter, right?
So, oh, yeah, he doesn't do that.
Need something.
Okay. I'll
That
tell
would
him.
be next meeting.
Okay, so lastly, if you may have heard me talking about it earlier, but, Schluter's having a bit of a power issue. And it's not anything actually that's their fault. They've been working with NIFA and NICEAG and governor's office. Their substation is the Kent Falls substation, which they need to be guaranteed 20 megawatts of power availability, which is there. It is my understanding from conversations with Empire State Development and a few other folks, Aaron Hines in particular, that the state is proposing to build a charging station off of 36, and they want to keep some of that power for themselves. So if Schluter can't get a guarantee pretty soon about this issue, they have a site in Tennessee that they're looking at. And this isn't a threat. This is not a threat at all. They need to know that the power is there. So, I know how much Mike loves that topic, but to that point, I'm trying to work with, this is not a project we want to lose.
What is our role? What the hell are we gonna do? Why
Just advocacy.
Why
I
doesn't
mean,
he sit down with NICEAG in the governor's office, and try to work it out?
well, that's what they're trying to do. And we submitted a letter of support to the Public Service Commission with regard to the need to increase this power. NICEAG wants to create a 50 megawatt facility. And that will, I think they're looking to Schluter to pay for a lot of that. I don't know that Schluter's real thrilled about having to pay for 50 when they only need 20. So that's a discussion that's being had.
They're not seeking additional financial assistance for the idea, connection with any of this, they're just, right?
Right, they aren't gonna close on the project.
Right.
So that's how it impacts us,
Possibly.
possibly. So that's where they're at right now. So I think it's more potentially my other role as economic development director for the county when it comes to advocacy, and making sure that they continue to be able to expand. It is my personal opinion that, I think the administration needs to get this done, and I'm not really sure why they're dragging their feet on it. So, and there will be an end user cost that's passed on to the consumer for the expansion of this ISIC facility. So, we're working through it. I'm actually gonna pick Mark Levis brain a little bit because Aaron Hines said he was involved in a similar transaction last time that he was able to help with. Not sure which project that was, but Mark, unfortunately, in Virginia, his brother is not doing well, so that's why he's not there. So send good wishes to him. So that's where the Schluter thing stands. I think that's really all the highlights I have for my report, Chairman.
Any other business for this meeting? Not, then get a motion to adjourn. Dave, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. See you
Thank
next
you,
month.
everyone.